This week on Hermitcraft.
No, I'm not going to press it because I will break it and it's going to be very bad. And you know what? I'm going to get blamed for this because I bet you Grian's going to come by and he's going to press the button and it's going to break, and now I've been here and I'm going to get the blame.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP. Captions on this video were provided by Liara, and all three of us have been enjoying the new wild update features and worlds, despite what someone has put on the thumbnail.
The video isn't even about the wild update. Let me live my life.
While we await your favourite features in the comments, Frog Gang vs Warden fans, it seems like the Hermitcraft server will actually not be updating for a little while. The Hermits use plenty of intricate tools in their video making, and some of them take longer to catch up with the new versions of the game. Not that it stops people from exploring the new features in other ways, but more on that later. Another exciting development is the start of another spiritual sequel to the Last Life series, Double Life, which is exactly the opposite of what the name suggests, but I guess Half-Life was already taken.
Goodbye, Gordon.
The new series takes place in a world where pairs of participants are bundled together, their health points shared no matter the distance or circumstance, so you can see how one would assume they'd run out twice as fast. First episodes are already out, so give them a watch. Even if it's not Hermitcraft technically, this is my sleepover and I get to pick the movie. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Or rather, did not occur, because Xisumavoid just took a copy of the world, updated it until the Warden showed up, and then burglared his house. We're actually talking about a smaller single-player adventure X went on as an experiment just to see how tough is the new stuff. Turns out not very, at least if you spent the last few months thoroughly documenting it across 2 channels and a Twitter.
Surround it like so, go paranoid mode, and then... Aha! Oh, and I'm sure this would be way more tense if all of my items were on the line.
On the actual server, he has a much different obsession, bones. Having prepared the giant skeletal arm in the shopping district last week, Azuma now puts together the rest of the bone shop. The server has seen him wear many hats over the years, and this time is no exception. X has a custom one modelled that looks like a sizable skull over his helmet. His rebranding into the Bone Mage helps theme the nether portal leading into his base, or rather the hollowed out eye holes of his base. He even chomps down on some bone meal instead of regular food, though one would think milk would be a healthier source of calcium.
0 damage!
Having worked some magic of his own with the other white block, Iskall confirms this week that Keralis made him do it.
Die right, boy. No! No!
Which makes sense given the shocked expression on Iskall's face.
Yeah, Iskall, are you feeling okay? Because I just watched your last episode and it seems that you've changed for the better, man, but in a strange way.
I am not okay. In no way am I okay.
What really opened our eyes was how much of the episode Keralis dictated to him in advance. He had the beats planned out and everything. In the spirit of secrecy, Iskall dares someone else off camera, leaving us to once again figure out who will done it. But returning to his lush cave, he finds Stress Monster not so secretly mining his amethyst geode.
How is this self-sufficient?
Well, I thought that this was like our joint farm, you know?
And how did you think that?
Agreeing that she can continue gathering shards if she helps him redesign the farm entrance and the storage area, the pair of them blow up the tunnel with TNT and install a secret door behind which the amethyst is safely contained. As for Keralis, he starts a whole base while his diorite video commission is pending. This is a brain twister because Keralis promises it to be themed around, at the same time, Mad Max, Fallout, and Waterworld, which on the one hand just means that we're in for some junk punk end-of-the-world Rust architecture, but on the other that the base will take place in a desert while also being completely submerged. I guess we can rest assured that it will be in fact radioactive. In the meantime, the first Drift Shack is in and looking very detailed and gorgeous for what in-universe is meant to be a literal pile of junk.
It's going to be humongous, and it's going to be going all the way. It's going to be pretty much stranded just in that little piece over there.
GeminiTay took a different approach. The elven castle she's building was made first for its shape, meaning that without any detailing and texturing, it is for now a grey, unorthodox shaped box, with some towers sticking out of it. Unorthodox, if you will.
To be honest, it's quite tall, it's quite beautiful, and it keeps us from falling into Impulse's giant hole.
Gem does put in a few brighter towers to accent the future entrance and a few key points from where the castle is going to be filled in with detailing and ornaments, as if remembering its true form. With most of his octagon dug out, Impulse raises the roof, in a very literal sense, so he can begin designing and building his dwarven keep, a process that takes an entire week and leaves him with possibly the most fitting place to build a giant sword nether portal.
Well, let's see. We spent about 3 days designing this in creative mode, and then about 2 days collecting all the materials. I had to dig all of that out, and we are done.
He even transforms a zombie into an honorary dwarf and gives him a giant sword of his own, but that's mostly so his villagers can transform into people with absurdly low prices. And Impulse can breathe easier thanks to an auto-brewer for splash potions of weakness, the promise of stockpiling enough enchanted books to last the remainder of the season, and locating that one villager who was throwing off the alphabetical order of his librarian trades.
And, yep, there we go. Izzy got weakness. He sure does.
Speaking of projects that take a full week to complete, Rendog commits to designing the interior of Gigajax, which is transformed into a Willy Wonka-esque factory for magical jack-o'-lanterns. While the shop itself is a relatively simple pay and the shulker box affair, the surroundings are kinetic redstone-powered wonders which tell the story of how your common or garden pumpkins get turned into spooky lighting solutions. There are even secret ways to get hold of discount vouchers for other Gigacorp stores if you're paying enough attention. For those of us without a golden ticket, Ren gives us the full factory tour anyway.
Once the jack-o'-lanterns have gone through the flask, they either come out the flask as jack-o'-lanterns for sale, or there might be a couple of moments where they come out as normal pumpkins or even sheared pumpkins over here. So, oh my goodness, I'm not sure if all of that was worth the effort, but it's here now.
Luckily, there is an even sweeter life to be had when Hypnotizd makes it through all the calculations of his beehives and delivers a mighty payload of honey and angry bees to Cubfan.
Here, quick, take your honey.
Okay, okay, I got it.
Time to go! Get out of here!
Perhaps it's this large project that inspired him into a farm-building frenzy, or maybe Hypno just dug up the giant perimeter by his base as a way to pass the time while keeping the bee farms loaded. Why the time-lapse for it had Hypno smells as a secret message we will never know, but the reason for the sinkhole itself is the 4 mob farms hovering over the center. Less space to spawn means extra productivity and a steady stream of monster innards piping to nowhere for the time being, but it's not like hoppers are really hard to come by. Could just stand there with an empty inventory and an open mouth, really.
A lot of items just sitting all the way down here, lagging out the server. So I can't let this run for forever.
XBcrafted does just the one mob farm, actually, but considering he's meticulously lit up his cave base in recent weeks, it's pretty effective and conveniently shuffles all the mob drops straight into his storage system. A storage system which now more people have seen. Vintage Beef drops by for a base tour, and while he has his attention, XB asks him to design a map that will make it look as though his blast furnace auto smelter is permanently lit.
Colors real quick.
It's a lot of gray.
This might be decently doable.
While XB clearly has enough diamond blocks to pay handsomely, even without tearing them off the walls of his train car, Beef settles for an unspecified IOU and an opportunity to become even more beardy. These are the perils of being the map art guy, but Beef knows his niche well at this point, and it's paying off in other favors already. While Beef is working on Doc M's card, Joe Hills turns up to show off the nether connection to Beef's area, and hopes that it'll merit at least one free booster pack when the game launches.
You get head of the line for these booster packs.
Ooh.
Huh?
I'll have a guaranteed opportunity to purchase one.
Exactly. And you'll get one for free, 100%.
Especially considering Joe has spent not just time, but diamonds on expanding the nether hub tunnels. Deciding that bed blasting is a more effective way to clear large amounts of netherrack, Joe buys from Scar's mattress store in bulk, which Scar repays by delivering a bulk shipment of adrenaline.
Oh my gosh, Scar. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's a decked out creeper. Oh, I love it.
It's a good thing Joe has a netherite pick now, because aside from clearing out all the bits of nether terrain the beds didn't obliterate, he also helps gather quartz for Cubfan's Total Chaos minigame, and helps Ijevin tear down bits of his mountain, then returns to the nether hub to dig a tunnel to the mining mesa. We do get a glimpse of another large minigame, and I feel the need to emphasize the word large here. TangoTek showcases the warped fungi and hyphae farms he's created just to convert some Azuma snacks into actual building blocks, as well as the building the blocks are going to. Here's the kicker, 2 enormous towers and a gothic gate between them are barely the entrance into the future decked out 2. The full scale of the game as planned can be glimpsed by the floating rectangles above it that mark the approximate perimeter of the play area.
Would you believe me if I told you I've been building 22 hours to make this build right here? This has been the most underestimated project I have ever done.
And although a lot of planning has clearly gone into the design already, Tango struggles with the proper name for the build beyond Warden Go Here eventually. It simply seems too ambitious to be called a frozen fortress, even if plenty of participants will soon be begging to let them go. And finally there's Doc M, who, when he's not rolling stats for Beef's card game and pining after a map of the perimeter, has been breeding a bunch of turtles, but somehow not for the Drowned farm. Instead, he temporarily floods a corner of the perimeter to spawn-proof it and puts together a creeper farm with a more mechanical way of shifting them around. You might wonder what this has to do with turtles, and the fact that he's built it in the corner closest to Grian's base.
We're making some nice potions over there soon with our turtles. And if you're smart, you can add 1 and 1. But hey, shh, be quiet.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. Captions on this video were provided by Liara. And if you want more of us roasting bits of Minecraft history, check out the video in the End Screen Theatre where we watch through and riff on Captain Sparkles' Fallen Kingdom video series, or as I now like to think of it, predicting Minecraft Legends 7 years early. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.